with a passion for helping individuals and corporate organizations build their personal and corporate net worth via investing in the stock market. I'm excited to be here again. It's a brand new week, a whole lot to look forward to after the experience of the previous week, and I hope you are ready for a great time together when we surf the market for opportunities as always. Remember, third quarter results and earnings season is upon us, so a lot to look out for, and of course position ourselves as usual. Thank you very much from wherever you are. As usual, you know how we do it here. I hope you had a great weekend, by the way, and then moving on from there, go ahead to start liking this live stream, share as often as you can from the beginning to the end. Today we have another 2 hours to look for investment opportunities to continue to grow our wealth. And of course, I'm sure we will find opportunities there. As usual, we will be reviewing activities of trading in the stock market in Nigeria. And then as far as last week's activity is concerned, and then we'll proceed to taking your comments on the comments. On all platforms, we are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, Twitter. And so it's good to be back, and hopefully we have a great time together. All right, so let's keep going now as we keep tapping our screens. Remember, the stock market is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it helps us to eventually make wealth for ourselves that we can continue to secure tomorrow. That's the whole aim of this live stream. So if you are with us, we can keep flying, and of course, it only gets better from here. All right, so keep your comments coming in. Before I come back to the comments, I will first proceed now to take review of trading activities on the NGX as far as last week is concerned. The all-share index closed the trading week ended October 10th, 2025, firmly in the green, surging by 3,404 points. This marks a 2.37% gain for the week as the index jumped from 143,584.04 to 146,988.04 points, driven likely by strong performances in heavyweight stocks such as MTN, Seplat, Dangote Cement, each gaining over 9%. Despite the upbeat momentum, overall market volume dipped slightly, sliding from 2.9 billion to 2.2 billion shares traded, even as trading activities remained robust. Meanwhile, market capitalization mirrored the price gains, rising to 93.2 trillion naira across 138,177 deals, compared to 91.13 trillion naira recorded in the previous week. Market breadth also showed improvement. 51 equities appreciated in price, slightly lower than the 53 in the prior week. 41 equities declined and compared to 43 previously, while 55 remained unchanged. On a month-to-date basis, the index has advanced about 3%, bringing its year-to-date performance to a strong 42.81%. And I can tell you, this performance competes very favorably internationally, talking about how well the Nigerian Stock Exchange has performed compared to other stocks in the stock market around the world. So continuing on the review, market overview, the rally kicked off on Monday and then proceeded all the way through until Friday, and the key highlights includes top gainers, talking about Seplat, MTN, Dangote Cement. Seplat and MTN gained 10% marks, and then of course Dangote Cement gained 9.5%, and Lafarge also gained 2.73%. Okay, the top gainers leading the pack was Sovereign Trust Insurance PLC, soared 16.73% week to date to close at 3.21 Kobo, marking a standard performance. Omatech Ventures PLC followed closely with 12.3% gain, finishing at 1.37 Kobo. Other major gainers include AXA Mansard 11.81%, Chams Holdings PLC 11.69%, Unicel Interlinked 11.39%, QTix up 11%, and MTN 10.8%. Right, top losers for last week: UH Real Estate Investment Trust down 9.98% to close at 51 naira 85 kobo. But this morning before coming live, I saw that they are gaining now, selling for about 56 naira per share. Mayor PLC went down 9.85%, Julie PLC down 9.6%, PZ down 8.5%, Haldane McCall down 7.2%, Thomas Wert down 7.1%, E-Transact down 6.2%, and ABC Transport down 5.8%. Okay, there were some corporate actions also. International Energy Insurance announced that the NGX had lifted the suspension on Trillium shares. Grief Nigeria PLC notified shareholders of its final general meeting ahead of its planned dissolution by the Corporate Affairs Commission. So please do not buy any stock called Grief, because they are actually grieving right now. They are about to be dissolved. And then Gedebu Power released financial statements for the third quarter of 2025. One thing about Gedebu Power is that they've been releasing good, they've been up to date, always releasing their results on time, just that it's overpriced as far as I'm concerned, up till the last results. But they are doing well in the power sector. And then Tantalizers PLC published their financial results for the period ended June 30th, 2025. It wasn't looking very good, but there is some bit of a progress there. And in the course of today's live stream, I'm going to be sharing with us, we will take a good look at that particular result, talking about Tantalizers PLC. So if you are not on YouTube, you're going to be missing the visuals, because I'll be sharing my screen as we take a closer look at Tantalizers result, because you know what I said about Tantalizers being a potential 1 million share challenge stock. So we will take a look at it and see whether or not we should buy or wait till November, December, or we should completely forget about it. But we will find out from our analysis of the results. Veritas Cap announced intention to raise about 15 billion naira at an upcoming AGM as well. So this brings us to the end of review of activities on the Nigerian Stock Exchange as far as last week ended October 10th is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, before I go on to start taking your comments, please be reminded that the stock market is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You need patience, a very solid virtue in wealth creation. No matter what business you are involved in, you will need patience. And so it's not different from what is required in the stock market. All right? So we will be proceeding now, but let me also introduce my strong team in the house, talking about Maobi, the moderators, and my co-host, Maobi, Benita, Gratitude Boss, and of course Rehoboth, Luke also. They will be helping to respond to some of the comments I may be skipping. And I will also advise, when you are trying to type a comment or a question, do well to copy to clipboard so you can keep repeatedly pasting until I respond, because the screens all over platforms that we are streaming on are actually automatic scrolls. So they are scrolling away, and I may not be able to see all of your comments, as it will take time to keep explaining one before the other. So ladies and gentlemen, we proceed to your comments, but also please take this caution here. All views and opinions expressed in this live stream are entirely mine. They are personal and therefore not financial advice. Do well to do your research no matter what you hear. In other words, don't believe what I say until you take action researching it. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, we proceed over to YouTube. Wonderboy says good afternoon to you. Chris says kindly enlighten us about the current state of foreign stocks and crypto that crashed last week. Secondly, will this affect the NGX market too? Chris, watch all the videos. They are now on all my platforms except on Twitter, so that we don't dwell too long on that. I've done a video detailing everything about what happened in the international markets. But by way of summarizing, cryptos crashed, dollars has been dropping all year, unusually so, And then, of course, stocks also crashed because Donald Trump threatened China of hitting them with more tariffs because China has decided to restrict rare earth exportation from China. And then, of course, that means most stocks crashed because the market is not a friend of tariff war. And we're expecting that China will respond with a retaliatory statement. Though 1st of November is the date that Donald Trump threatened, but you know what? During the weekend, he now made a cheeky statement that seemed to like put a bit of cold water on a very hot situation. And so for that reason, that comment alone has now made futures, S&P futures, rising a bit. So the market may just recover. That dip you saw, you may not see them again. So today we're also going to look at some of those stocks that we're looking at that dipped. Some of them were waiting endlessly for to dip. That eventually happened on Friday. But it's not yet Uhuru because we'll be watching till 1st of November whether that threat is executed. If it is executed, then we're going to be facing a situation where China will retaliate and then the market will tank. When the market tanks, another opportunity. So you don't go all in yet. You must be very strategic and tactical. Good day, coach. Love to see you today. Is Coronation Insurance a goodbye? And I sent a message on Instagram for the Discord link. Would love to join the Discord group. Akpan and Niedi. If you sent a message, I will respond. I think I responded to almost all messages over the weekend because that afforded me enough time to do so. Right? Good afternoon, coach. What's going on with Beta Glass? Nothing much. Chinwendu, Obama. Nothing much is happening with Beta Glass. Just regular market actions and not something to worry too much about. Okay? All right. On to TikTok, where I should be taking some of your comments. Thank you very much, Allotted King. You've been wonderful sharing this live stream. Please, on all platforms, you are on YouTube, you are not sharing the live stream, you are not helping the cause of this community, because the whole idea is to help as many people as possible to get to know these things. Not everything is free, but as you can see, this one we are offering free. So allow people to enjoy the free wealth creation tips and ideas you are receiving here also. Ikem Benzoini says, completed my 1 million challenge on Chams and Q-tips. Right now, I have 3 million naira. Do I top up UPDC REIT or buy Fidelity at current price? Also, is Veritas Insurance? I think your questions ended there. But congratulations. Let's celebrate Ikem Benzoic, Chams and Q-tips 1 million challenge in the bag. And then he proceeds. I think you should face UPDC REIT now if you already have some Fidelity. And then wait to see. I hear that Veritas wants to raise capital. Maybe they will come to the market and during their AGM, they will get approval from shareholders for that exercise. So you want to wait to see exactly what they are planning to do, whether it's rights issue or public offer, before you make up your mind on what to do and take position. Congratulations, Ben. They are celebrating you all over this place. Especially, I'm seeing the celebration going on TikTok already. This is what we're all about. When someone is succeeding, we all join to celebrate them. What you do for one, you also enjoy eventually. We do not resent the rich in this place because that's a mentality of the poor. We are trying our best to develop the habits of the rich. And what does the rich do that we're trying to do most often here? The rich invest, the middle class save, the poor spend. That's why they remain poor. Until a poor man decides to start doing what the rich do, which is investing, then they will remain poor. There is no prayer that can help such a fellow. Honestly speaking, it's all by action. Wealth is not by hustle. Wealth is done by leveraging, right? You leverage on the money you have earned and the stock market or any other investment vehicle to grow your money. So you have to be wise. If wealth was by hustle or struggle or strength, the richest people in the world would have been those bricklayers and truck pushers who do the heavy lifting. They will do all that and end up with peanuts. Simple reality of wealth is not by struggle. Right? So we have decided to be smart, make smart money moves, and so that you end up not having to work again the rest of your life. Is that clear now? Okay, we go on to more of your comments. Areme Kuno says, Coach, has there been any announcement for the NID or Q3 qualification date? No information yet. We stay patient. Aria Soap Works says, Veritas is raising capital through private placement only. Okay, if it's by private placement, thank you very much for that update. Then it means there is no anticipation of participating in any of that. The only private placement is done with target investors. Usually, the company might have gone to discuss with will-be investors at specific prices, and then they agree what to invest. They raise the money peacefully, they are giving equities in exchange, and that's it. That's one advantage with that is that it is done very fast, and then of course cost savings. You know, when you do public offer or rights issue, all the documentation that needs to be done, the issuing house, and then the participating brokers, you will pay them commissions for carrying out that job. Okay, so all of those expenses for such offers are saved when you just do rights issue, and then of course with speed, transaction is done, capital is raised, and then deployed for the business. I hope you are getting something. These are things that are not easily captured on social media by content creators and all that. It is in practical sessions like this that you get to hear exactly what's happening. All right, so if you are looking for an informed community who know what they are doing in the stock market, both in the Nigerian market and the US market, this is the place to be. And if you are not following me, you are losing money. Listen, by 1 p.m. we'll be opening the phone lines on TikTok to receive your calls. So but before then, we'll keep taking your comments. Keep them coming in from everywhere. And make sure you are liking YouTube. Make sure you are liking. Congratulations, everyone. The YouTube channel just clocked 5,000 subscribers. Interesting, isn't it? More people are showing up and sticking around and getting value. That's what we want. So do well to keep liking and sharing on YouTube as well. Anytime you watch a video, try to share so you are helping somebody somewhere. That's what we're all about. It's all free. And let's see how we can carry on with this. Ladies and gentlemen, also in the course of the weekend, I did a few research and I saw that some of the stocks we were begging to come down in the international markets actually came down. We'll take another look at them as well. Let's see how we try to manage the time very well. Thank you very much, Seedoff. Seedoff has been splashing me with roses left, right, and center. I appreciate you there. Let's keep flying, keep the on-screen actions going so that we can get more people involved. Okay? So, Grief Pierce is grieving. Coach is a rhyme master. Gladys Edegware, you know, if you've been involved in rhyming, you'll really enjoy it when things click like that. Especially when you are doing it on the spot, you don't have to think about it and it just pops up. Boom. That's where the fun in rhymes is. Okay? Greetings, sir. Please, from your experience, if one should put 200,000 in Bitcoin, is there a possibility for the money to vanish completely? There is a possibility for it to vanish. There is a possibility for it to return. Full stop. No further explanations. Straight to your question. I have responded. Coach, what do you say about secure electronics correctly trading at 90? Sorry, James, your question is not very clear. Pastor John Adelu Mola says, Coach, good afternoon, sir. What's your take on FCMB rights issue price compared to secondary or NGX floor market price? I think the rights issue is going for 10 naira or so. I really don't know what the difference, what it is right now, because I wasn't following. I know they're doing rights issue or public offer, but I wasn't really following. It's always more favorable to pursue and take your rights, unless in rare cases like what UBA did, overpricing the rights issue compared to the market price. Of course, we all understand what the intent was, to make sure that as many people as possible are discouraged from taking up their rights, talking about the retail investors. Aremekono says, Coach, is there any recent development with Dansem? Seems to be moving recently. Aremekono, yes. You know, I've always analyzed, up till last Friday, I was analyzing Dangote Cement and telling you how the company is becoming stronger and will always post much stellar performances going forward due to various corporate actions, which particularly included a share buyback that they even cancelled completely and put the existence of those shares out of the way. And that means there's going to be a whole lot more earnings per share and possibly dividend per share. Let's not forget, Dangote Cement paid 30 naira dividend per share for the 2024 financial year. And their prints this year has been wonderful. You know, they struggled. All cement manufacturers struggled last year. And then this year we are seeing good performances up to their third quarter result 2025. Second quarter 2025. So we are anticipating even something better for third quarter 2025 and the final fourth quarter results. And so, but beyond that, Dangote Cement has launched its factory and has started operations in Ivory Coast. If you go through my Instagram posts, you would have seen where I shared a $250 million, the $250 million cement plant that Dangote Cement was trying to establish in Ivory Coast. As we speak right now, that business has officially started working. FCMB is public offer. Yes, 10 naira per share, correct. Thank you for that. Not rights issue. So what we are saying is that launch eventually, plus the fact that this Dangote Cement has lingered around 400 for so long, has led to the market reacting perhaps to that particular launch of the factory. So most recently, the manufacturing plant in Ivory Coast has started operations. So people are positioning for a strong finish to the 2025 financial year, because whatever production they are doing, their revenue generated in the process will add to their fourth quarter result. Remember, we are now in the fourth quarter, so whatever you see in the first 3 quarters of 2025 financial year will be having extra additions when it comes to revenue growth and of course profitability possibly. So Dangote Cement on Friday closed at 575. It's now 583 naira per share. Coach, which can you suggest between PRSO, CSCS and IMP? I want to buy some deep. Aisha, that's a smart one. I already opened some of them up here for us to also discuss. It's a matter of checking which of them dipped the most. And then for IMP, particularly IMPP, for me, it's a longer term candidate. Most of them initially can be swing trade options, and then as you progress, or prospects, as you progress, you will start seeing reasons why you should still hold longer. I'm very sure that IMPP is for the longest of term, and so for that reason you may have your bias as to what volume to buy and so on, or to just concentrate on it. Otherwise, PRSO, COS, is the rest are at least swing trade prospects. Then should performances continue to improve, then they automatically turn to long-term ideas. Thanks for your kind words, Coach. I do not have any fidelity at all. So do I buy at current price or top up UPDC rates? Depending on the volume. Okay, you said 3 million. That should fetch a reasonable amount of fidelity, and by this time fidelity still has stagnated long enough. I don't see it dropping lower, even if they pay lower dividend because of the dilution of shares following their public offer success. Fidelity is still a very good bank to own, especially considering the fact that you will still be having the interim dividend to be paid later this month. So you may want to go for Fidelity and still get back topping up your UPDC rate. going forward. Maybe November, December, discount sales period. But be done with everything around November, December. Make sure you finish that 1 million challenge for UPDC REIT by December, so that you are now set for whatever to expect going forward. All right. Good morning, Coach. Please, is QT a good 1 million stock buy? Yes, it is. Okay. I go back to YouTube to see some of your comments. Kolawole Samson says, Coach, please, how do we position ourselves to survive market crash, as these are inevitable? Looking at the previous market crashes of 2008 and 2020, it's imperative for us as investors to get ourselves prepared. Kolawole, if you know me and if you've been a part of this, that's one thing I've kept on talking about. Surviving crashes is a matter of doing the little things that we always advise, which is that you continue to invest wisely and invest for long term and sound fundamentals. The fact is, without stock market crashes, there will be no money in the market to make. Honestly speaking, without market crashes, there will be no profits in the market. So it is when the market dips during crashes that we get to experience some level of progress in terms of capital gains after we buy. So we train ourselves to take full advantage of market events and in the process enjoy returns. And so we are never worried about market crashes. As far as you know what you are doing, every recommendation we make and next steps that we follow up with in reaction to any market crash will always secure us. If you always buy stocks at the dip and not chase after flying stocks, you are protected to a certain degree from market crashes. And then if you understand DCA, dollar cost averaging, those who are in the US and foreign markets, you must have heard more of it. It's what is also referred to as averaging down. When you buy a fundamentally sound stock and then there's a market crash and it's affected, you know, because you bought a fundamentally sound stock, you don't panic and sell. What do? You see a market crash of the price as an opportunity to buy that same stock at a discount. When there is fear is when the wisest and smartest investors makes the most money in the market. So we also welcome market crashes, because without that, there is no money to be made. So when there's a deep opportunity to make money, but fear rules the market, because of the human emotions that we all have, hundreds of millions of investors will panic and sell, and market prices will drop. To an extent, most stocks will now be undervalued. That's when you go in and buy. Microsoft and SoftBank are in a discussion for a $2 billion investment. I just got that update right now. I have a way of picking all this news and information from all my handles. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you survive market crash. Buy into solid companies. They will keep functioning. Stock market is crashed. Price, a lot of times, people mistake price as the main parameter for investing in stocks. Price is good to the extent you want to know whether you are overpaying for a stock or whether a stock is undervalued and therefore very good to go in for. But the main place to look at is the business. If the business continues to progress, revenue is increasing, there is no dip in revenue, profit, and so on, consistent dividend growth, return on investment growth, return on capital growth, at least 25% annual return, all of those things are looking good. Any market crash can change the stock price, but the business itself is still looking healthy. Go in for that stock and close your ears to the noises when the market crashes, because you will recover. I'll give you an instance. 2020 market crash that you talked about, that was a result of COVID. Once you understand that you can't be in control and know everything that will happen in the market, because you are not in charge of the mind of everybody who is investing. When fear comes, market crashes. COVID came, stock prices dipped. That time, the regular price of a stock like GTCO was selling at 25. If it goes too high, 28 naira per share. Then that 2020 market crash came, beginning from end of 2019. And then we know GTCO is a solid stock. It collapsed to 13 naira. I can show you the charts. Let's go there right now. GTCO 2020. GTCO collapsed to 13 naira per share. I think Zenith then collapsed because both of them were actually running together in terms of price. They were always about the same price along the line. So GTCO collapsed to 13. I think Zenith drops to around 10 from 25 naira per share. So much fear. But you know what? Throughout that period, they all were paying dividend consistently, twice a year. So what you could have been buying at 25 is now 13. That fear is what we pounce on because we are sure the stocks, the business is great, but the price has reacted to a general widespread fear. So you go in there, buy your GTCO at 13. Even if you started buying at 25 before the market crashed, because you know that you are buying a good company, you are not scared. The fundamentals are not affected. You know what? You go in there, buy, then watch to see. While you are buying it cheaper, dividend is increasing, so your dividend yield is far better than when you bought at 25. So when you buy at 13 plus the one you bought at 25, average price will come down to around maybe 15 or even 20. You no longer have to wait till it's 25 before you make profit because you bought more lower, right? That same GTCO is now 94 naira per share. I'll show you the price chart, 5-year price history. That's it. Let me quickly share my screen on YouTube, and this is what viewers on YouTube will continue to enjoy because it is one facility that you can easily use to share screen. So that's it. If you are on YouTube, you will see that's the chart for GTCO all the way to 2020. Today is October 13th, but I've placed the cursor on October 20, okay? October 20, okay, I can't get, let me spread it to 2019. I mean 20, okay, that's 2015, 2016. Good. March 2020, this chart is showing 17 naira 70 kobo. I know it dipped to 13. It dipped to 13 intraday. So I don't know how it captured this, but March 2020, that's it. GTCO 17 naira 70 kobo, right? And then it started climbing when COVID, especially in 2022, when the coast became clear, but it was still at 17. You can see from 2020, it climbed from 2020, 1770 in March. It climbed a bit to around 34 naira, then dipped again. So for 2 straight years, it was stagnated at 1770, 1775. September 2022, 17 naira 75 kobo. This same GTB then flew up when the coast became clear that COVID, the world has overcome COVID and everything. And there you go, boom, up all the way to the 90 something we have. After it touched 100 naira in July this year, it's now at 94 naira or thereabouts right now. So imagine, like Smile for me saying, imagine doing 1 million challenge when it dipped, right? You would have used 17 million naira to buy 1 million GTCO shares then. Everybody was afraid. Then now it's 94 naira. What does that mean? On 1 million shares times 94 naira per share, that's 94 million naira. Your 17 million naira is now 94 million naira, even from 3 years ago, because by 2022, it was still selling at 17. You see the point? That's how to really, really respond to things like this in the market. I hope you got the message, and I hope that's very clear for you to see. These are things we will continue to see and to encourage ourselves to pay attention to and enjoy from our decisions from now. We do not want to be those who keep posting videos about, those who keep posting videos about, if you had invested this, you would have gotten this. No, not a problem. Now we want to be the ones that will be talking about 3 years from now, and 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You will say, wow, I bought Chams 2 naira per share, 3 naira per share, 4 naira per share. 3 years after, 5 years after, Chams is now 25 naira per share. Do you know what that means? All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep going. Keep the comments coming in. Never mind. Hello, coach. Please, is McNichols good for the 1 million challenge? I keep getting questions about McNichols and never ever end up really going to do a proper research on what is going on with that stock. So I'm always out of my depth when it comes to questions about McNichols. Currently at 3 naira 30 kobo, I haven't done the research. You've got to be really, really convinced about the muscle, the strength, and the prospects in a stock before you go in for 1 million challenge with any of them, because we're not just looking for any penny stock, we're actually looking for those with very good prospects. Okay, so I'm trying to check if I can lay my hands on anything as far as McNichols is concerned, and if I am not able to, just not to waste our time, I may have to let it go for now and focus on other questions. I'm not able to find anything to place my hand on at the moment. You know, I can't speak without, facts. Bukari says the spelling, please. McNichols. It's in the Nigerian market, though, just in case, so we don't mix. The ticker symbol is MC Nichols. MCNICHOLS. There's no E. Nichols. OLS. 1 million challenge. What does it mean? All right. I will call Maobi to explain what 1 million challenge is. Ladies and gentlemen, I spoke with Atlas today, or I chatted with Atlas about the concerns being raised about, the challenges with your account opening and all that. And they had a lot to say about the second leg of account opening procedures, which has to do with CSCS. And all of those things that we've always spoken about, the challenges with CSCS is what I was told. So Maobi, someone needs to understand 1 million challenge. Please, can you explain a little bit before we continue to progress? Good afternoon. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, hello, good afternoon, Coach. Very good, and happy to be here again today. Okay, so regarding the 1 million challenge, basically we came up with this idea in order to encourage investors to have a focal point in their portfolio. And what do I mean by this? Now, instead of investing randomly, maybe you accumulate 100 units of UB, and again you accumulate another 100 units of GTB, again you accumulate another 100 units of Chams. When you invest this way, you stand the risk of having your portfolio to fail and also prolonging any potential benefit that you might get out of your investment journey. But when you have a targeted approach in your investments and you focus on a stock which has a very bright future, which has very sound fundamentals at the moment, and is also a very future prospect, then you can be sure that you are in early and that you are much more positioned to benefit when the stock has any capital appreciation in the future. A very good example, a couple of us already bought some Chams even before we came up with this concept at below 2 naira per share. Today, Chams is trading above 4 naira. So for anybody anybody who has already accumulated a million units of Chams, you are already in significant profits. That is not to say that you drop out immediately and sell, because we have where we are going, and until we get there, we stay in very patiently. So in a nutshell, that's what 1 million shares challenge is all about. We are just telling you to identify one good penny stock. By penny stocks, we mean stocks that are trading below the 10 naira mark in the market. That doesn't mean that you should jump into the market and start buying, the list of the list. We advise that you still go for stocks that are really, really solid, and that you know that your money will be worth it in the future. So that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you very much, Maobi. Really appreciate. Was straight to the point. Not yet time for callers to come in, but we already have one caller. We'll stand by. In the next 18 minutes, the lines will be open on TikTok to take your calls. But till then, keep your comments coming in. Remember, I told us that I'll be visiting Tantalizers report again to favor those connected on YouTube. So very shortly, we'll be taking another look at the report when I'll share my screen, so we can critically look at Tantalizers to make up our minds whether or not it's a good candidate for the 1 million challenge. Earnings for Noobs says, firstly, thank you for your consistent lessons, coach. May God bless you. And secondly, what is a good price for Chams today? I saw Chams trading down from the highs it went for the day. I'm going to confirm to you right now, going back on the floor of the stock exchange, on my screen right here, to give you real-time update. Chams is now trading neutral. Okay, neutral, I mean, it closed at 430 naira on Friday. It dropped to 430 naira, but the last transaction that just happened, 50,000 shares, was bought at 438 naira. So currently, Chams 4 naira 38 kobo. Oh my God. If Chams ever gets to 438 naira, goodness gracious, there will be billionaires in the house. Come on now. Or could that be a prophecy that is being made already, even without my knowledge? My God. Long may it be. So shall it be, right? Okay, so at the moment, the highest bid for Chams is at 4 naira 30 kobo. Friday's closing price. If you bid at 4 naira 30 kobo, you will be behind 1.7 million bids, right? But if you bid 438 or anything above 4 naira 30 kobo, then you'll be the top bidder. But at 438, you will be sold to immediately. Current bid and offer status, 6.5 million bids, 6.4 million offers. So the equilibrium nature of the bid and offer status also indicates and confirms why it is trading at very close to a neutral of yesterday's closing price. So over to you to make your decision based on these updates. However, it's important to note that 30 million Chams have been traded and 132 million naira spent in the process. Thank you very much. Another trade for Chams has happened at 4 naira 38 kobo. So this is Chams, from what I'm seeing, trying to now build a strong support above 4 naira. It always does this. I know how it struggled to stay above 3 naira for a long time. And that was because somebody was consistently dumping Chams in the market, offloading a lot of Chams. Maybe he bought it at 60 kobo or 70 kobo per share. Now, it is at 4 and really, really looking strong every passing day to sustain that above 4 naira support level. Right, coach, talk about the crypto sharp plunge and next action, because I started accumulating. For Jukes, that was a good move. If you've already started accumulating these kind of things, when you're not sure when it will ever happen, it will ever stop the dip, or how long the market will crash, because this is just a policy pronouncement that really hasn't happened but has caused a serious dip. And sometimes these kind of things can be very short-lived, may not last. So those who rush in to take a bit of what has dipped end up benefiting, because in the end, it is what you are able to grab that matters before the market recovers. And there was some level of recovery within hours of the market dipping. And you know, one thing with crypto, it is traded every day. It's not like the stock market that closes. It's traded as though you are dealing with Forex. 24 hours every time, anywhere you are, trading is going on in Forex and in crypto. So that's one thing. A change can happen very quickly. There were some recoveries, and it means if you bought the dip almost immediately, then you may be benefiting. But you know, you just can't tell what next happens. So the approach is buy some with whatever cash you have and then wait to see what happens. I'm surprised China hasn't made any public retaliatory statement to that, even though the tariff date as threatened is 1st November. But there has been a first reaction and we are watching. So this whole thing is not over yet. But you see, you can take some, step back and watch to see what happens before you go in on others. Because I saw that most of the targeted stocks that we've been talking about took a dip as well. But in pre-market, they seem like they're trying to recover. Okay. So we'll talk about that also. Let's proceed. Han Hurek says, am I the only one that has not gotten my Zenith dividend payment? Bisoye Akinshelure says, I've not gotten my Zenith dividend too. I don't know why. Okay, be informed that it will take some time before the entire dividend is paid out. You know, registrars pay out dividends in batches. So you are not the only one. Just give it time. I usually advise 2 solid weeks from payment date before you should start taking any actions or worrying. Within 2 weeks, most of these dividends would have been paid. So payment continues. Some people confirmed receiving theirs over the weekend. So it just goes on like that. Stay patient. Never mind, you've invested, you will benefit from your investment. If you are not following me, you are losing money. All we do here is to give you free information that will build your net worth, because in the end, your net worth is what determines your value in the market or in the society. Minty Cinty says, hi coach, why is it taking so long for Chams rights I bought to reflect on Atlas, please? Oh, Minty, please take it easy. You are not buying a stock from the floor yet, so it will not reflect. It hasn't reflected anywhere on any broker's platform. They will collate these reports, sort them out. It's more like doing voting. You know how you take time to sort out votes after they have been cast in an election. There are some applications that will be faulty and they cannot, process it and close it out. They will select and sieve out all the wrong applications and then proceed to collating. And some people will be requesting for more than their rights. Some people will be paying for less than their rights. The registrars have a lot of work to do to make sure they meticulously sort this all out. And then for those who requested for more than their rights, some refund will be done because they may not be allotted all that they requested for. All of this must happen and it takes months. So relax yourself. No broker has received any of such. And so eventually you will still hear in the course of this live stream when we receive updates that it has been released. Ladies and gentlemen, Chams goes a notch higher to 4 naira 40 kobo as we speak. Bid and offer status has changed. 7.5 million bids versus 6.4 million offers. So the offers didn't increase, the bids are beginning to mount up again for Chams. So that signifies the solid support level above 4. I was talking about that Chams is really doing much better than it struggled with when it tried to do that above 3 naira. So it may not be long before Chams continues its climb. As far as the heavy Chams dumper is done dumping his stocks. Coach, please, I want to buy stock for my kids. Kindly advise on any good stock, divine increase. For your kids, I've always advised stocks like Qtix, Chams, tip. Those are very good stocks that with time will grow into something solid. Then Jaiz Bank. I always like to add Jaiz Bank to these things, right? Especially for long-term investors. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, remember I told you so that we don't disrupt the course, I will go straight. Okay, coach, please, is Veritas Cap good for 1 million challenge? Jide or Deni? It's actually good for 1 million challenge, but it's very good. I can say it's very good for 1 million challenge as long as you stay patient. I've told you my story about, I've shared my story about how I tried to accumulate 10 million shares of Veritas and accumulated up to 8 million shares, all under 1 naira at that time, before their financial result wasn't so good towards the end of last year. And I decided, look, you know what? I'm seeing a lot of other opportunities. I still sold at profit, but I abandoned that goal. But now they've turned things around. They are now at 2. Next year, I repeat, is the year for insurance stocks. Okay? So position yourself very well and you will be happy you did. Morning, coach. Any thoughts on home call? Well, not much. Neka, Ebele. No information from my end as far as research and opinion is concerned. DYIC says, coach, is VFD still a good buy? Actually, it is still a good buy. My best price that I would want to have seen it is around 10 naira plus, but it's looking like it's not coming down to 10 anymore, unless maybe in November, December fever catches it, then we can say, all right, good to go at 10. Okay. Okay, keep your comments coming in, never get tired. So let's go onto the screen right now. Like I said, I saw Tantalizers results. We want to take a look at that. So I'm going to share my screen. YouTube family, get set, and let's do some academic work on Tantalizers. They recently announced their half-year result. Period ended 30th June 2025. Remember the background behind Tantalizers. By this time last year, Tantalizers was selling for as low as, I will check now and see if I'm able to confirm. Tantalizers was selling for as low as under 1 naira. Okay, maybe by this time it has risen because it was selling for around 70 kobo or thereabout before it rose so high and got to where it is right now. In fact, it blew past 2 naira, of course. I'm going to the history books to check what really happened. Exactly 1 year ago, Tantalizers, as we can see, was selling for, take a look at that. Today is what? 13th of October. If you are seeing your screen, say yes. If you can see your screen on YouTube, please type yes. That's Tantalizers there, 2 naira 36 kobo as we speak. And then going down memory lane, history. That's it. 14th October, exactly 1 year ago. Today is 13, tomorrow is 14. So 14th of October, Tantalizers was selling at 55 kobo. Take a look. Then what happened? Tantalizers got new sets of investors. Why did it collapse that low? Because I think the owner of the company, I think the founder passed on, and then the company now struggled, kept struggling. You will notice in your location, some of you where Tantalizers used to be, most of the outlets closed down. They are like this fast food chain. They closed down, and so as a result, there was this issue of price now depreciating. Nothing much is happening. When the fundamentals are no longer looking good, investors dump the stock. That was Tantalizers 55 kobo 1 year ago. And then news came that a group of investors have now put in about 2.5 billion naira to inject fresh funds to revive the business, expand it. And then they went further to explain that they were going to diversify into into entertainment, the entertainment industry. So Tantalizers is no longer going to be just a fast food chain. They were looking at ways of increasing revenue and, of course, making more money from the business. So from 55 kobo per share last year, the news broke, and I think it was around November. Then it started jumping from 55 kobo to 63, then to 129 kobo under 1 month. October 14 to November 22. Or is it 1 month? 1 naira 18 kobo. It kept flying. It kept flying. 1 naira 85. It kept flying. See where it touched 2 naira. Now take a look at this. As at January was 2 naira 71 kobo. But you know what? After that January high, it dipped a bit down to 1 naira 90 kobo in February. Last day of February, 1 naira 90 kobo. Then it flew back up to, in fact, it touched 4 naira. Now, this chart is not showing some of the intraday transactions, but if I take you to Tantalizers and check for the daily, the 52 weeks high, you will see that Tantalizers actually touched 4 naira per share, right? I'll take you to Tantalizers on my dashboard and you will see what I mean. Down all the way, because it's organized in what you call alphabetical order. That's Tantalizers there. Currently 3 naira 36 kobo. And then if we scroll this way, right, you will see 50, okay, 3 naira 45. Okay, didn't touch 4 naira. Okay, so 52 weeks high is 3 naira 45. It was from that 3 naira 45, Tantalizers eventually came down and has been coming down and coming down to the 2 naira something. So it's been oscillating around 3 naira and then 2 naira, 3 naira here, and then all the way down to where it is now. So for almost 1 year, it's stagnated at 2. Why? Everybody is waiting to see what becomes of these Tantalizers, what is happening with what they have put in. And you know, when you want to revive a dying business, it takes time. So the market is saying, I'm okay at this price, I can buy now, but I need to see what's happening before I make any other move. So half-year results. So far, Tantalizers, let's take a look. If you are listening, okay, I'm seeing complaints that YouTube is lagging. Not a problem. As long as you are listening to me, you will still follow closely. And then later when you watch the video, you'll be able to see. And that will also help you to learn a bit of understanding financial statements. That's it. Statement of profit. This is the profit and loss statement we'll just pay attention to for today because of time. Because it's almost time to take the course, right? Revenue, 2024 December, 2.9 billion. June 2025, half year, that's this year, 1.3 billion. That means there's still business going on. Money is still coming in. But you see, what they have is December 2024 that they are comparing with half year 2025. And that December 2024 means full year 2024 result. So you may mistake these things if you are not careful with your observations. 2.9 billion naira versus 1.3 billion half year. Now, if you prorate it, it means if they have generated 1.3 billion half year, that means times 2 makes it full year estimate, which means 2.7 billion compared to 2.9. Okay. Then that's system revenue, more like group revenue. But the Tantalizers itself, now the net revenue, 620 million naira for half year 2025 compared to 1.1 billion for full year 2024. Now, if you multiply that half year by 2, you are getting 1.2 billion. Cost of sales, that is the money spent trying to do the business, salary, equipment, taxes, no, tax is not in cost of sales. What you like, maintenance, running costs like diesel, because you will power your engines and all that, and all of those running costs, 415 million naira in the first half, compared to 773 million in the full year. If you multiply that of June half year 2025, you're going to get about 800 million, which is more slightly than the 773 million for the full year. You would also notice it's in bracket. In accounting, when you see figures like this in bracket, it means you have to remove it from the revenue. And so if you take away 415 from 620, you are seeing 205 gross profit, 205 million versus 425 million for the full year 2024. So if you take a look at this carefully and then you go all the way down, because of time, like I said, just go on to the net profit or loss before tax. You will see 259 million for 2024 loss. Whenever you see items in bracket in a financial statement, it means minus or loss. So in this case, 259 million is in bracket, that's a loss, versus 25 million only loss for half year. If you prorate this loss for half year, you'll be recording just a half year loss of, say, 51 million naira, which is far less than the 259 million for the full year 2024, right? Then they break it down to distributing those losses into the number of shares existing. So you get earnings per share. Now, you distribute your profit or loss after tax to earnings, to the number of shares in existence. That's the outstanding shares. So what you have as loss per share, because the loss is in bracket, 5 kobo. Remember, it's also in kobo. It will be indicated there if it's naira or kobo. So that 5 you see where the cursor is right now is in bracket, meaning it's a loss. 5 kobo loss for the full year 2024. Then half year, we are seeing 1. That's the 1 there. This 1 is in bracket as well. So it's a loss, 1 kobo loss for half year 2025. So if you prorata or prorate the 1 kobo half year into full year, it means 2 kobo loss. 2 kobo loss for 2025 full year financial performance versus 5 kobo loss. You will see that they have actually improved. Instead of making more losses, which was 5 kobo, it's now 2 kobo. So this is actually an improvement from their previous performance. And that means something is going on that looks okay. I think I will stop here for now. We've already used 4 minutes of the call time to explain this financial statement. I hope somebody got something from there. We will have to now progress to taking your calls on the comments. If you are enjoying this live stream, you will write enjoy. On your screen, go ahead and type enjoy. Never mind YouTubers who will find a way to see what can happen to fast track and fast forward the stream time so it can continue to progress. This is something that should be a paid session that you are receiving for free. But when perhaps I am able to find the time, we will do a paid session on understanding financial statements, because financial statement is in 3 parts. You have profit and loss account, you have cash flow statement, and then you have balance sheet. Once you are able to analyze this, and there are ways to do it, you can be viewing a financial report based on being a business owner, trying to buy the business. That's completely different from viewing a report as an investor in the stocks of the business. They are two different things. Because what you'll be looking out for as one who wants to take over the business is completely different from what you should be looking out for as an investor. There are metrics and things to check to be sure that you are seeing the right things and making the right move. That's going to be tedious. That will be a paid session in case you are interested in the future, but it will depend on if I'm able to find the time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go on to the calls. Remember, first come, first serve basis is how we do our calls here, and hopefully we entertain as much calls as possible. Don Stanley has been asking, Coach, please, which penny with 5 million naira? Which penny with 5 million naira? We'll take a look and I will revert. Hi Coach, I was thinking of selling Royal X and buying more RDL. Thoughts? Go ahead. That's always a stronger company that you can sell, especially now that no one is chasing it anymore. This is when I always like buying a stock. Before attention eventually comes back up regarding a stock, I would have done selling. I'm just watching to see. It looks like it wants to stabilize where it is now before any further move. So interesting. So for now, we stay action and still keep watching price movement and activity, momentum regarding volume of trades in Tantalizers to decide what next to do. But that means you will have to wait longer. You need more patience because the market will not react to a loss-making company easily. But you know what? That's when the brave try to start putting one leg in and just waiting to see how they progress. For instance, if the fourth quarter, which is the full year result, comes out, it should be coming out around January, February. It should look better. And then if it does, from next year, I am now projecting that Tantalizers should start making profit from next year because they are gradually coming out of a loss-making position. You see that? From 5 kobo loss full year to 1 kobo loss half year. So even if they do exactly what they did half year in the remaining half of this year, that means only 2 kobo loss from 5 to 2. So going forward next year, maybe in the second or third quarter, Tantalizers should have turned the corner into being profitable. But the market will take time before they come back to recognize and embrace it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the lines are open. Already we have 9 callers standing by. As usual, Maobi will be co-hosting with me today as we proceed with your calls. Militia, Gabi, and Lake will be our first 3 callers as we make progress. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're streaming from?
Good afternoon, Coach. I'm David. I'm streaming from Abuja. It's a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure is mine, David. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. So, as of last week, I tried to look in a trade on UBA because I noticed that the prices were dropping little by little. So, I am eyeing UBA for my 1 million shares challenge. Even though it takes me the next 2-3 years, I don't mind because I've been seeing their development. So I tried to lock in a trade basically with them, and I tried buying at. I think I went too low, and I placed the trade for 42 naira because now I'm not seeing the money on my dashboard, and I have not been credited the shares to my portfolio.
What platform do you use?
United Capital Live Trading. This Invest Now Live Trading. I think it's under United Capital. Something.
UCAP, yes.
Yes.
I think you should email them to reverse the transaction so you can have value for your get a refund of your money and place your trade properly. I've just done a bid and offers analysis. There are 6 million offers, which is a lot, versus 2.7 million bids. Highest bid is at 42 naira 70 kobo. So they should find a way to release that fund so you can get in early enough. I am of the opinion right now that after that disappointing interim dividend paid, perhaps UBA is done dropping and suffering punishment. If the rights issue is completed, the stock price should first rally towards that rights issue price of 15 naira before any further movement. And I'm sure they will at least do well, better than what they have done when the final dividend will be announced.
Thank you very much. I've also been looking at their plans for expansion. They have seriously been showing tendencies towards going into North Africa, which is why they have seriously been an interest of mine now for the past 2 to 3 months.
Fantastic. As long as you are happy with what you are seeing, I'm sure they will deliver. This is one bank or one company under Tony Lumelu that he will not fail to reward shareholders. That's because he has gathered enough so that whatever he approves for shareholders, he is also benefiting in quantums. This rights issue is one other way they can accumulate as much as possible from the unclaimed rights, because you and I will not keep going to buy at 15 naira rights when we can fetch it at 42 on the floor. You get the point now? So, excellent. As long as you are happy.
Sir, thank you. Sir, another thing, I've been trying to look into real estate insurance trust funds. I don't know if you can just maybe take a few minutes to still enlighten us and still make a few suggestions on which would be good to go into moving on.
Well, if you're looking at REITs in the Nigerian market, there are just 3 solid REITs there. They are the only ones I can see on my broadcast board. Talking about SFS REIT, Union Homes REIT, and UPDC REIT. At the moment, SFS REIT is out of hand, 382 naira per share. But Union Homes REIT is still within range, 55 naira per share currently. Then you have UPDC REIT, the cheapest amongst them, 7 naira 45 kobo as we speak. So it's up to you to decide which to go for. The good thing about REITs is there's regular dividend based on the regulations governing their sector. For the Nigerian market, at least 70% of their profit after tax must be paid out to investors as dividend annually. UPDC REIT 3 years ago was as cheap as 50 naira per share. It's now 382 naira per share. So we'll go on to other
Sir, please, one last question. Sorry to I think this is one last question. So with the recent global surge towards gold and everybody hedging away from dollars and trying to hedge their funds in gold, what would you advise to move on in both our own Nigerian stock market here and the US market? Gold stocks you could advise to move on?
No Nigerian gold stock to really hope on in terms of performance. The only stock listed with gold beside their name is Japol Gold, and we hear they are mining somewhere in the west around Osun or so, Osun State, but we will not see it on paper to say, okay, this is what is happening now. There has been investors who invested in, mining is very capital intensive, it takes time. That's why Japol has remained at 2 naira for a very long time. For foreign stocks, I've already given the idea about 3 solid Canadian gold stocks, and I'm sure some people have bought and they are seeing the increase already. You are almost late to the party. And then it's normal, international investors and generally the market is dumping the dollar because of the instability. So it's not just about Naira dropping. When the market hates uncertainty, that's what's happening as far as the US dollar is concerned. US policy just comes flip-flops, left, right, and center, all sorts, trade war, this and that. Investors hate uncertainty. So they are tilting towards Europe, that is a much more stable economic base. So the euro, if you check it against the dollar this year, is doing better than the dollar. Dollar is actually crashing below 10, more than 10% now, year to date. That's hardly happened. So that's why people are taking position in gold. Then, of course, the US stock market has also hit all-time highs as well. People are now expecting a bust. Should the market crash, they are already taking position in gold. That's why gold is surging. So gold and gold stocks, both the commodity and the stocks, will be rising. Basically, that's it. We shall proceed. I hope I answered your question. To the next caller.
Yes, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Oh, I put off the wrong person. Maui, please call back in. This thing always just moves before I make a move. Gabby, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, coach. Thank you for having me here.
The pleasure is mine. Please tell us your name and where you're streaming from.
My name is Gabriel. I'm streaming from England.
Thank you very much, Gabriel. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, coach. Mine is about the issue, the problem I've been facing since I opened the brokerage account. And if you can remember, 2 months ago, I came on live to talk about the problem I had with the CSCS. When I bought shares from my broker, the confirmation I'm getting from S-Rated, they always address me as not found, if you can remember.
Yes.
Which you advised me to, find the email of. So after 2 months, after I go back and forth, it finally got sorted with the CSCS. My name has been corrected.
Awesome.
Clap for me yet. So good. Here is the problem, another problem. I cannot access the CSCS account by myself. So I have to request it from the broker. So I don't know, maybe it's right or it's wrong. That's number one. Because whenever I try to log into CSCS, and they will say they will send it through the register email, but I never received anything, which shows maybe my email is not registered to that CSCS account, or does it have to register to my broker account to get the CSCS statement?
It's very much in order to get your CSCS statement through your broker.
Okay. That's number one. So when I request the CSCS, so when I requested it and they send it to me, on my evaluation report, I've accumulated about 80,000 GT code.
Okay.
When I received the CSCS statement, it's showing 55,000 there.
Okay.
And when the issue with the name was sorted out, on my portfolio, they rearranged it to 55,000, and I make a complaint that, I have 80,000 here. Why is it now 25,000? Immediately that day, it was changed back to 80,000. So on Friday night, I was at home in the evening. I received an email from Datamax. Register to see how we manage your shares. So I just play with it. I register, pay £1,000 for 1,000 naira for subscription. Lo and behold, when I log in, look at my share, it's showing 55,000. And the evaluation report on my broker is showing 80,000. So I delved into the Meristem, very clear. So I go into the statement, and it shows sometime around June, 25,000 was sold.
By who?
So that is my question. That's why I said, don't clap for me yet, because I cannot wrap it around my head that 25 was sold by who. I have no knowledge of it, but up till now, logging into my Meritrade account, it's still showing 80,000. So I don't know.
Let me ask you a question. That sale you saw, was it a contract note?
It's not, there's no, it just say 25,000 sold and active. There's no contract note, there's nothing there.
Okay. What date was that?
That was in June.
June this year.
That was exactly when I got my unit transfer, because I came online with you that I bought public offer from GTCO. How can I transfer it to my broker? Which you explain everything. So I emailed them, give them the everything, and they transfer the shares on that around that June, 50,000 straight into my broker account.
Okay. Very simple. Have you ever complained to them about this disparity now?
I just saw it on Friday night.
Beautiful.
But there's one thing I want you to know, because you talk about it, that's why I didn't push it. Last year, that's when I bought the public offer from GT Bank. And I remember very well, I bought 25,000. I went to the bank and the guy started to sell it up. I bought 25,000 shares. So when I asked them to transfer my share to Mary Trade, which was around June, I saw 50,000. But unfortunately, let me say, fortunately for me, you were talking about some shares got double around that time. There are some, maybe GTCO, some people have 100, they will see 200. So I was thinking maybe my share got double because I know I have 25,000. But 50,000 was transferred to my brokerage account.
Okay.
So I've accumulated, added to it to 80,000. But now I'm seeing 55,000.
It's alright. This is what you will do. First, lay a complaint by email. Give them 1 week. If they don't respond, lay another complaint. This time threatening to petition the Securities and Exchange Commission. I'll type their email address, or I'll just mention sec@sec.gov.com.
Okay. Yeah.
sec@sec.gov.com. Email them the second one if they don't respond after 1 week. Copy SEC and tell them the next thing you will do is to petition them. Petition SEC against them. That second one, let them, you will copy SEC in that email so that they will see that you have already raised an alarm and you are about to now petition. Thank you, sir. Just the same way you came back with a good report for the first one, you will come back, it will be sorted. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give time for Atlas Portfolios to talk to us. Sometimes, when they don't have the chance to speak to us, it is difficult to really understand what they are going through. Like I said, I chatted them up this morning and made them understand the challenges and the complaints in the community, and they had to tell us their own challenges that they were facing. And I've seen Atlas on the queue. I'm sending an invite. Hopefully we're able to connect with them so they can just give us an insight into their challenges. You know, when registration is not, immediate by one house and one location, you have to go through regulatory movements of that registration. It becomes difficult, and you may not know what the challenges are. So it will be good if we hear from them. The connection is not going yet. I'll take a course. Toyo says, good afternoon, Coach. I'm new here. My brother made me join your live. I'm still trying to get along, but I can say you're doing a good job. Thank you very much, Toyo. Just stay on. Later on, send me a DM on Instagram. I'll give you details of what you need to do to really understand the next live stream you'll be attending. It will be much clearer for you. Okay, on to the next caller, Lake. Carl Boosie says they know what to do, but don't do it, so I copy SEC immediately. I have issues. Straight. Good day, Mr. Coach, and Happy New Week. Love and unity. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Carl Boosie says I don't even send warning mails. I attack SEC immediately. Please, someone should mention the Canadian Gold Stock Coach mentioned. Boutique store shop. The Canadian Gold Stock. I mentioned 3 of them. They are posted. Their videos are made. You will see them if you just scroll through. Okay, YouTube family, not forgotten you at all. Mohammed Grema says 5,000 subscribers. Thank you very much, Mohammed. It's all because you've always showed up and been a part of what we do. That's why. So, big ups, congratulations to you, because you made it happen as well. Hello, Coach. I have not gotten my own Zenith dividend payment. Never mind, Adebayo or Agilore, you will get yours. Give it 2 weeks from the date of payment. The beautiful thing about life is when you get to that point where you don't have to struggle for some of the money that come. I'm talking about not having to sweat, whether it's paid employment or business, not fighting over anything. Money just drops in your account. That's the smartest way to live, and that's the best way to live long. I've told you before, the wealthiest people are those who live longest in the long term. You will find out. Recently, last week, we heard of the passing away of one stock market juggernaut of many decades ago. I'm talking about Christopher Kolade. When I started investing 27 years ago, this was one of the powerhouses and the most solid trusted names in the Nigerian stock market space. No internet, no nothing, but people like these were, the masters in the game. Right? Christopher Kolade, some people know him as an NTA person, but he died at 92 years old. Warren Buffett is 95 and still there, stepping down from being the chairman of Berkshire Hathaway this month. And guess what? Even that boy you see, they call Mark Zuckerberg, he will live long, because there is no BP matters as far as money is concerned. And if the Bible has stated categorically that money answers all things, you better know that it's that important. Christopher Kolade became chairman of all sorts of boards of directors because he was known to be a man of integrity and all sorts. He just passed on at 92. Now I'm saying, if you are 60-year-old today and you will live up to 92, that means there are still 32 more years left, or 40 more years if you will reach 100. The question is, life does not end at retirement. So what will you be doing to survive and to stay healthy and to be able to spend money for your upkeep, for your health, and whatever you need money for another 32 years or 40 years on this earth? With the way things are going now, you know how things get difficult over time. If you are not finding a way to put money to work for you, you are creating a tough future for yourself. Do what will look after you tomorrow. That's why I say the money you save today will save you tomorrow. When you save that money today, you are able to gather enough and invest. That investment will now grow to look after you tomorrow. Recently, Ronaldo of Portugal emerged as the first $1 billion net worth sportsman, footballer. I don't know about other sports. That's because all the endorsements and everything he's doing continues to grow. Such a person will not suffer. But you know what? There are people who started playing before him who has earned something close to what he has earned, even though he is extraordinary because of where he is now, the Saudi League. But people earn that much and still suffer because of lack of planning. Be smart. if they can play soccer and still suffer with all the money flowing in football today, how much more you and I? Enough said. Next caller. We will be taking calls from Chuchuli, Amarachi, Jennifer, I guess that's Jennifer, the full names are not there, and then Chiejine Ubome. Chuchuli, you are our next caller. Please, complete novice, where do I start, sir? Okay, data nerd, I will let Maui respond to you after we finish speaking with Chuchuli. Hello, Chuchuli, your name and where you're streaming from, let's make it very fast. Hello, Malby. Malby's gone. Okay. Malby, please come back so we can get you involved. Wow, we have 17 callers now. We have to be very fast. Okay, let's have Atlas Portfolios speak to us. Good thing we are fortunate they are here. Atlas Portfolios, please go ahead. Good afternoon, and just give us a little briefing so some people have a good idea what your challenges are as well.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. As regards the companies and account opening, it's been a month or so working with us. We've been having some issues with CSCS for weeks now, never into a month, especially for those who want to maintain their existing clearinghouse number from another house with Atlas. Sometimes it takes us 3 weeks minimum to get feedback or for the account to return properly on the portal before we can send the consigned client login details. And for new accounts without existing CHN, also once the portal is down, they also have backlogs from their end. It takes time, and the feedback we could give to customers is to exercise patience with us. So those are the issues we've been experiencing. And thinking because of the migration of the recent portal we are using into the new one, that could be slowing down their work and response, because the portal is actually launching today. And hopefully, like they claim that we'll have speedy answers or speedy response on the portal for account opening. I'm hoping that once we are into the portal fully, account opening won't be delayed. So it's just to sincerely apologize for every inconvenience one or two persons might be going through for account openings. We really understand how it feels when you want to take positions and you cannot. We sincerely apologize, and I'm sure the time to be resolved once we migrate fully into the new portal that CSCS is navigating at the moment.
All right, thank you very much, Atlas. I hope you are gearing up for our first quarter live physical session eventually, because you are seriously invited to participate with us. Maui, that's what we said, right?
All right.
All right, thank you very much. So, Maui, someone was asking, he needs to know what we are doing here. Can you just make it brief in 2 minutes? Because we have 14 callers still standing by.
14 minutes. Wow. Okay, I'll try to be as quick as I can. I didn't get the name of the caller, but for his interest and the interest of others who might want to know, what we are doing here, basically, we're talking about investments in stock and also in the money market. When you talk about stocks, you talk about owning a part of a company that you are investing in. also, when you talk about the money market, you are talking about debt instruments like commercial papers, like the bonds and what have you, right? So all this combined together is what we come here every weekday to deliberate on. We look at the opportunities out there in the market, and we try to look out for, where to invest and take advantage of. Now, for the purpose of investing in the stock market, right? If you want to start, the first thing that I will recommend to every beginner is to make sure that he or she gets very good knowledge of how the market works. You will agree with me, right? That if you are going into any business for the first time, knowledge is key. In fact, if you can make that knowledge practical, it will aid your onboarding session much more quicker and better. So get requisite knowledge. And when we talk about knowledge, we are not saying that you should go, carry an encyclopedia to read. No. Coach has made it very easy for you by making 1 or 2 beginner videos, which you can find on his YouTube channel, also on this TikTok handle, or also on his Instagram handle also. So head over there, look out for those videos, watch them, assimilate them, and understand how the market works, understand the signs to look out for, understand how to make your analysis here and there, understand how to know a company that is profitable and a company that is not, understand how to buy, when to hold, and when to sell. After you have gotten the knowledge out of the way, then of course you need an investment vehicle, which is your stock brokerage account. We have Atlas Life here. They are my favorite brokerage house of choice. And I'll tell you the reason why they are. First of all, they give me live real-time transmission of data. I don't need to be worried about seeing the price on my brokerage app or my brokerage platform, and I'm thinking maybe this is an updated price from Friday. Any price I find on Atlas, I can be very sure that this is a live price, that this particular stock or equity is currently trading live real time. Atlas also gives me a very reasonable commission. I think I have used a total of 4 brokers in my investment journey, and to be very honest, I have gotten the least amount of charges from Atlas portfolios. I also get very good responses on the go whenever I have an issue, like we can see them right here. I'll tell you one thing. When you find any service provider that is not shying away from coming to the public, accepting that there is a problem, and hitting those problems head on and trying to find a solution, right? Once you find a broker like this, just know that already you are set up for success. But there are other brokers out there, I'm not gonna lie, but for me, Atlas Portfolio is my choice. Okay, so get the knowledge, register with your brokerage account, which I recommend Atlas. Then you need to take a decision of knowing or deciding the stock to buy. For this, you need to be well guided, you need to understand the market, and you also need a support group of investors like the Network Investors Club, which is a free group. I repeat again, Network Investors Club is 100% free. You can join on this call by sending Coach a DM on Instagram and getting the link to join. There you can find like-minded investors who will guide you in your investment journey, even when the market is closed. So a combination of all these factors will go a long way to ensure that your investment journey is profitable to an extent. All right, thank you so much, Coach.
Thank you very much. We proceed to the next callers, 13 callers, and we have got one Amarachi, which eventually dropped. So we go on to Jojo, then Blue Home Utility, and Real Guy. Let's go. Jojo, you are next. While we're trying to connect with Jojo, Prince Olamoto says, hi, Coach. Does 2024 Zenith primary offers qualify for this recent dividend payment? Absolutely. It does. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and where you're streaming from, sir? Giorgio, are you there? Should we proceed to the next caller? Okay, Blue Home Utility. Okay, that's also gone. Real Guy is our next caller. While we are trying to connect with Real Guy, Adedayo Ajilore is asking, do I need to fill any form for me to get my Zenith dividend? How do I know that I qualify for the dividend? There's always qualification date for the dividend. If you bought it before the qualification date, then you are good to go. I think qualification date was 2nd of September. So if you got your Zenith Bank before then you qualify for the dividend for the rest of your life, and that's what we are trying to teach. When you invest in a dividend paying company consistently paying dividend, then as long as you don't sell the stock, you keep getting the dividends they pay. For Zenith, they pay twice a year. Hello, good afternoon. We lost that caller also. I hope it's not a connection problem, but if it was, surely I wouldn't have been in touch with Maobi or Atlas. So we go on to the next caller, Collins. After Collins, it will be Chams Zinux next. Hello, good afternoon. Collins, are you there? Please move away from the noise so we don't put off this call. Tell us your name and where you're streaming from. Collins from Ogun State, thank you for joining. Go ahead.
Okay, Coach. I actually started investing in a month of May, the first of the size. And when I joined, we were actually laying emphasis on the need to actually focus and get some blue chip stocks. I keyed into that, and so far, I've been able to accumulate 6 blue chip stocks and just one in the last one being Deep. And Dangote Cement and RD has been the major anchor of my portfolio. Right now, I currently have up to $500,000, and I'm conflicted with upgrading that, like topping up Tip, or I should just start going in for the smaller stocks like Chams.
Tip is one that you should not miss out now. Later on, those cheaper ones, you can always fetch them because they won't run too fast so quickly. I think that's what I can say, because Tip, after the rights issue is done, may not be found around the 13 and 12 that we see it currently. So, made the choice easier for you now, right?
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you, Collins, for keeping it brief. We have about 16 minutes to go, and we have 10 callers still standing by. So we go on to the next caller, Chiomzinux. Oluwa Folakemi says, excuse me, what's Tip? Tip is the Initiates PLC. They are into waste management, and we've seen them grow from 1 naira 90 kobo to 13 naira in the last 10 months. Most of us here bought Tip 1 naira 90, 1 naira 81, 1 naira 95, 2 naira, 3 naira, some 4 naira, some even 7 naira. Please help our sister Oluwa Folakemi and type for me on the comment section where you are. How much did you buy your Tip and when did you buy? November 2024, 1 naira 90 kobo. January 2025, 2 naira 50 kobo. Just type. Let's get busy and make it lively. Right? While we're doing that, hello, Chiomzinus. I hope I got it. Are you there? Okay, just try to make it a bit audible, more audible.
Good afternoon, Coach. Can you hear me now?
Good afternoon. I can hear you. Please, your name and where you're streaming from.
Okay. My name is Choma. I'm streaming from Abuja.
Thank you for joining, Chioma from Abuja. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, I want to say thank you for all that I've been doing, and I want to say that now financially literate. Yes.
That's the idea. Awesome.
Yes.
Good to hear.
Very big also. Thank you, Coach. I think this goes to Atlas. So I kind of opened an account for my daughter. When I paid it, because I want to get Chams for her, when I opened it, I think they linked it back to my own account. So the money that was meant to go to her portfolio came to my own portfolio, and I don't know how to rectify that.
Okay, Atlas, please could you respond to Chioma? Hello, Atlas, are you there? Okay, we will hang on, and Maobi just help me to type that message on the comments while we wait for Atlas to respond. And in order to maximize the time, Chioma, do you have any other question? All right. So I'm not putting you off. You stay in there, because maybe when Atlas decides to respond, they may want you to also give them feedback. They may want to ask questions. So let's just stay on there, but we'll be taking other callers. Hello, Atlas. If you can hear, please just respond to this so we can let Chioma rest. Okay.
Thank you very much. I'll be on standby.
All right. Thank you very much. Propeller. Next caller. Propeller. Okay, Vivian, your money says it happened to her and they responded fast. And she said you can do them a message, okay? While we are still waiting for them to respond, I think we'll work with that as the last resort, just in case we don't hear from them. So, Chioma, can you hear me? Are you there?
I can hear you, Coach.
Okay. Vivian has just made comments about it, that she also experienced that and responded. So simply send them a message. So, but just still hang on there. Let that be our last resort. Is that okay?
Okay, thank you. Very okay. Thank you.
Amarachi is our next caller. While we are waiting to connect with Amarachi, hi, hello, Coach. I registered on Atlas site, but have been expecting a mail to proceed from there since then. Peter Ahine, what you can do is please check your junk mail box if you have received anything. Hello, Amarachi. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Coach.
Thank you for joining. Please tell us where you're streaming from and on to your question.
Okay, my name is Jennifer, and I'm streaming from Owerri.
Jennifer, we are glad to have you all the way from Owerri. Go ahead.
Okay, sir, I just have two questions. I want you to explain compounding in the stock market, because I hear people talking about this thing, talking about investing every single day. And I'm very much aware that there are some points where the stock price goes up and at some point it comes down. So can you just explain compounding?
All right. Very simply put, assume you invest in a particular stock, Zenith Bank, that pays dividend twice a year, or we go away from that, NIDF pays dividend 4 times a year. Every 3 months they pay dividend. Compounding simply means reinvesting whatever you receive from your investment back into either the same stock or at least into another stock in your portfolio, so that what you have put back in continues to grow to bring you much more. For example, in 2025, so far, NIDF has paid 2 dividends out of the 4. The third one will be paid this month. When they pay the first one in January, you reinvest it back into NIDF, you buy more stocks. When they paid around July, you take that money, not spend it outside stocks, get back and buy more NIDF. Now they'll pay again this month, you take it again, buy more NIDF. What you are practically doing, forget theory and the formulas that they will show you. You are compounding your investment. What that does is automatically increasing the number of NIDF you have without adding fresh funds. And so every time the number of stocks are just increasing, thereby also increasing the dividends you will keep receiving to reinvest, and it becomes so explosive. That's what compounding is. On the other hand, you buy a particular stock, tip November, 2 naira per share. It jumps to 13 now after 10 months. You decide, I've seen enough profit, I want to sell. You sell, either take the profit alone or sell off everything plus the capital, reinvest in some other stock, not pulling it out of the stock market. You are compounding your investment. And it works wonders. That's what it is.
Now I understand better. Thank you so much for that explanation, sir. Sir,
Awesome.
please, one last thing. Can you re-explain what this 1 million units, or like this 1 million challenge, is all about? And mention some stocks that you feel like that you think we should get for this 1 million challenge, for those of us that did not follow from the beginning.
Jennifer is speaking with so much passion, I will explain for that reason. Number 1 million share challenge was a divine inspiration I got and decided to share with the community, and I'm doing the same as well, even though I already have some companies with 1 million shares in my portfolio. Why? I've seen what it can do. We want to stop talking history. You know, all these posts on social media by content creators in investment and stocks and all that, they say, if you had bought Beta Glass in January, now you would have been 700% up. That is to say, if you invested 100,000 in Beta Glass in January, now 10 months after, you would have now, that your 100,000 naira is now worth 600 or 700,000 naira in total. We are saying the 1 million shares challenge will stop you from reading history and rather make you the history being referred to. We were in this group, there was somebody who bought Beta Glass when it was mentioned here at 60 naira, a lady. Beta Glass is 400 and something naira now. And we are saying, okay, we've seen penny stocks grow from nothing to something. 5 years ago, a stock like NACO was selling for 2 naira. Now it's 110 naira. If you bought 2 million naira worth of NACO 5 years ago, that's with 2 million naira, you would have bought 1 million shares of NACO. Without adding no money, that NACO, if you sell today, is worth 110 million or 107 million naira, depending on what the price is now. But before our very eyes, in 5 years, 2 million has turned to 100 million. So the 1 million share challenge is to forcefully make some of us multi-millionaires. Instead of scattering the money you bring into the stock market on all manner of stocks and over-diversifying, that 1 million challenge will give you a focal point to, at least if you don't have a stock up to 1 million shares, focus on it and grow it, because it will eventually move from being a 2 naira stock to a 20 naira stock someday. 3 years ago, Fidelity Bank was 2 naira plus. Now it's 20 naira. 2 million plus spent to buy 1 million shares is now worth 20 million as we speak. What you would have scattered across so many other stocks, you find one, focus on it, gather it while it's still a penny stock before it shoots up and becomes something else. That's the idea behind the 1 million share challenge. That is to say, every 1 naira move that stock eventually makes adds 1 million naira to your portfolio. Every dividend paid becomes much more substantial because you have a lot of that stock. So I have seen it work for me on some stocks I've bought, and then one day the inspiration came and we shared it amongst ourselves. Now everyone is advised, find amongst the stocks I'm going to be listing again, one that you can start accumulating. No pressure, no time limit. You are challenging yourself. Like, look, I'm going to accumulate 1 million shares of so and so stock in a particular given time. If you are a student and a civil servant and you think you can't accumulate up to 1 million shares, your own 1 million share challenge is simply 100,000 units of any stock, any company at all. That's your own 1 million share per time. That's the idea. Is it clear now before I mention the stocks?
Yes, sir. Very clear.
All right. I'll go on to mention, because they also, even though we say they should be penny stocks, but they shouldn't be empty stocks. Not stocks that will give you headache tomorrow, because penny stocks can also be dangerous. But the ones with prospects, I repeat, Academy Press is among them. But if I were to do 1 million share challenge with Academy Press, I won't buy now. I will wait for them to do the bonus shares and dividend payment marked down from that 9 naira, wait for it around 7 and accumulate. Academy Press, QTix, Chams, Cornhall, where are they? UPDC REIT, UPDC. If I want to go along the insurance sector, I will look at a stock like Cornhall I've mentioned, then Mutual Benefits maybe, Jaiz Bank, Nigerian Police Force Microfinance Bank, I think RT Briscoe, Tantalizers. Based on what I'm seeing now, I'll take time to follow up on the third quarter results and then finally take a position, but it's looking like a little revival is starting out there. I think these are some of those stocks primed and ready candidates for the 1 million challenge. Is that okay?
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, please, can you re-mention the ones in insurance? I didn't get them, sir.
Cornhall, Consolidated Hallmark Insurance, Mutual Benefits. If you like, you can add WAPIC. You can even add Veritas Cap and Prestige. But I mentioned earlier that insurance, the reason why I don't dabble too much into them in this 1 million challenge is because they are going to go through recapitalization 2026. And so some of the stocks you will accumulate for 1 million may eventually go into a merger that will reduce your 1 million shares into like 500,000 shares after they do their merger and share reconstruction. But it doesn't take anything away from the value of the stock, because they will reprice the stock. It will now be more expensive if they do reconstruction of the share price. Is that okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We ended up using the whole time left. Well, we'll take one more call. It's already 2 p.m. when we should be rounding up. Joshua is our last caller for the day. I think we've managed to judiciously use the time. Hello, good afternoon. Tell us your name, where you're streaming from, and your question. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me particularly thank Atlas Portfolios for being here. Thank you very much, Maobi, for being here. I appreciate you all for your time. We need to hurry away from here today so we can face other things. For everyone who has liked, shared, commented, given gifts, you are the best. For your sake, we continue to grow on a daily basis. and get more Nigerians out of the rat race of life. You just need to work 15 years of your time, and you should have put in enough money to work for you to take care of you for the rest of your life. That's my philosophy. 15 years, I've been out of paid employment, even active involvement in business, for more than 5 years now. So I have retired since. You don't have to wait till you are 60 or 65, but it depends on what you do with what you are earning now. As long as we keep going, never mind, a great future awaits everyone. A very pleasant one at that. For those in the US and Canada, never mind, 5 minutes or 10 minutes after the live stream, the video will be available on YouTube for you to take your time to watch, especially because of the screen sharing that has started very well. You don't want to miss anything at all. If you are at work and we're not able to also follow, go ahead and watch the video. While you are watching on YouTube, if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe so you can get notifications for other videos that will be dropping from time to time. Until we meet again tomorrow, same time next week. Tomorrow, same time, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Nigerian time. This is me saying thank you very much for being a part of today's successful session. And this is where we call it a day. Enjoy the rest of